A lot of weird things can be found in the produce section, but this is one of the weirdest of them all. Say hello to burdock root, aka gobo. Reaching over 2 feet in length and covered in rough skin and fine filaments, it definitely stands apart from ordinary produce like onions, lettuce, and the like. While its appearance is certainly odd, burdock is a surprisingly approachable root vegetable that has more in common with a carrot than, I don't know, an antler or whatever else you might think this thing looks like. So how do you cook and eat such a thing, and where would you even buy it? Today I'm going to answer all those questions and more as we take a close look at this 2-foot long vegetable known as burdock root. Hello and welcome to I Want to Cook. My name is Chef Matt and this channel is all about helping you be a better cook. And yes, today we are taking a look at this crazy thing. This is burdock root, and yes, it's also the correct answer to last week's culinary trivia question. A couple of you knew exactly what this is. Congratulations to those who identified it. Okay, let's begin with the basics of this produce aisle oddity. You're probably wondering, what is burdock? Well, it's like other root vegetables. It's like carrots and parsnips, basically roots of vegetables that you can eat. Now, this is also known as gobo, which I think is pretty fun to say. Say it with me, gobo. Fun, right? So burdock root is native to Northern Asia and Europe, although nowadays it's grown all over the world, including in the United States. Although grown might be a euphemism because burdock is actually considered an invasive weed, and the thing can grow to up to 10 feet tall. That's why it's got these big, massive roots. But you know what they say about silver linings, because, well, these roots are not only edible, they're actually really good for you. And they've been used for centuries as both food and medicine. In fact, you can buy burdock root supplements, but for this video, I'm referring to the whole food root itself. And this stuff is packed with nutrients. According to the Cleveland Clinic, it has good stuff like a form of fiber called inulin that aids digestion, and burdock root is also a good source of antioxidants, which can protect our body cells and help reduce inflammation. And according to Healthline, this stuff might even act as an aphrodisiac. Oh yeah! Now, according to Healthline, if you're allergic to chrysanthemums or daisies, you may be at an increased risk of having an allergic reaction to burdock, and if you're pregnant or trying to become pregnant, you shouldn't take burdock root or its supplements. But generally speaking, burdock root is safe to eat, although you probably don't want to harvest it yourself because it grows alongside other plants that look very similar but whose roots are poisonous. So you definitely only want to buy this from a reputable seller at a store. Now, if you've never seen a burdock at your mainstream grocer, well, that's no surprise. They're probably not going to carry it. But it's not hard to find if you know where to look, and the first place you should look is your local Asian market. I get these big long roots at my local Tokyo Central, but you can also find it in cut up form in other Asian markets. And in reality, that's probably going to be easier anyways, because unless your refrigerator is 8 foot tall, you're going to need to cut this stuff up to begin with. Then you're going to want to wrap it up and put it in your produce drawer, and it'll be good for about 4 or 5 days, maybe a little bit longer depending on your refrigerator. As for cost, while it may not be as cheap as other root vegetables, it's not exotic food expensive. Mine cost about $4.99 a pound, and well, this huge package was just under $8, and trust me, this will go a long way. Now the next thing you're probably wondering is, how do you cook burdock root and what does it taste like? Well, the most important thing to know about this is, well, it has a lot in common with a carrot. So it can be eaten both raw or cooked, and it can be cooked a lot of different ways. And also, it can even be pickled. Whichever way you use burdock root, you'll want to cut it up into more manageable pieces. And like a carrot, with burdock root, you can leave the skin on or peel it off. Leaving the skin on will provide extra nutrients, but like a carrot, if you do so, you'll want to scrub it very well. To eat burdock root raw, you can cut it up into small bite-sized pieces or shave, grate, or dice it. You can add it to salads or slaw or even a crudité tray, just like carrots. If you do peel burdock root, know that it will oxidize similar to potatoes. So keep them in water before use so it doesn't turn that nasty brown color. Now, as for cooking burdock, the ways are many. If you can think of a cooking method, you can probably apply it to burdock. Personally, I like to cook mine along with carrots for added color, flavor, and texture. You can roast burdock root in an oven. I peel and cut mine into bâtonnets, dress with avocado oil, salt, and pepper, then roast at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 to 30 minutes until they soften a bit and start to brown. Garnish with parsley leaves and maybe drizzle with olive oil or butter and lemon juice, and you have a lovely side dish. Similarly, you can air fry these bad boys. In this case, I leave the skin on, cut into rounds, and season similarly as with roasting. The result are delicious bite-sized burdock pieces that can be eaten on their own or added to your favorite recipe. Burdock root can also be steamed, braised, stir-fried, or even quick pickled, just like we did with jicama. You can even make tea with it by steeping the root in boiling water. But what does burdock root taste like? Well, I've got some raw pieces here that I peeled and cut up, and well, you know, it's very kind of mild and earthy, yet delicious. It reminds me a bit of that jicama that we did not that long ago, although, well, it's a bit stronger in flavor. It also kind of reminds me of like a cross between a parsnip and a water chestnut and some of those bamboo shoots that you might find in your favorite Asian recipe. All in all, it's just very satisfying. That's the best way I know how to put it. Whether eaten raw or cooked, you know how some foods you just feel better after eating them? Well, that's burdock root for me. So why should you eat burdock root, maybe even 2 feet of it? Well, first of all, it's packed with nutrients, especially fiber, which we could all probably use more of. But beyond just the healthful benefits of burdock root, this is one of those ingredients that really kind of expands your culinary horizons. You know, it might get you not only using a foreign ingredient that you really have never used before, but also shopping at a place that is foreign to you as well, kind of a culinary journey. You know, there's a lot of fun to going like to an ethnic market and smelling all the smells and seeing the sights. I did a whole video on why you should be shopping at ethnic markets, and I'll put a link to that video in the description below. But getting this thing, this big long burdock root, well, that's just another reason to check one of those places out and give it a try. Have you ever eaten burdock root? Is it maybe a family favorite, or you have recipes that go back a long way? I would love to hear how you use this stuff. Be sure to put that in the comments below. Okay, before we get to trivia time, a little show and tell. Look at this beauty that I picked up at the thrift store this week. You might have caught it in action earlier in the video. This is a vintage Revere Ware 4.5 quart pot with, this is so cool, a steamer insert. Take a look at this thing. This thing is just beautiful. Built right here in the US of A. Particularly, this was built in Clinton, Illinois. I wonder when, maybe in the 60s or 70s, but a very cool vintage pot with steamer insert. I bought this for only about I think it was $12.99 at my local thrift store. And well, it, I'm sure, served a family for many decades, and I'm proud to have it in my collection now, already doing some work. For this week's culinary trivia, no, it's not 2 feet long. In fact, it's much, much smaller. What are these things? Do you have any idea what these are? If you know what these are or you have a guess, put it in the comments below, and I will, of course, let you know the correct answer in the next episode. As always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Until next time, I hope you want to cook.